Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to SF1 GP1 here at the French Grand Prix Circuit Paul Ricard for round 10 in this championship. SF1 Roads in the commentary booth, alone by myself this evening. So we're going to bring you guys all the action of this race. It is going to be quite a race. A couple guys home track race this evening, such as FCT Diagear. We have Anton, Lucia, all these guys that are their home track. Nice little shout out to Daigero. It was that man's birthday in that Ferrari seat. Let's see what kind of race he can have. As you guys can see, Enzo is cutting a bit of the corners just to get himself out further for a lap. It is okay as long as it doesn't impede anybody's qualifying lap, as I believe he's the first one out, so he shouldn't have any trouble with that. Let's take a look. Is he the first one on track to begin? Actually, it might be Hubdy. Hubdy's on an out lap. It might be Anton, our championship leader currently. He is going to be the first one to start a lap here. His home. Let's try to give you guys a little update, idea what this track entails. Coming across start-finish line, turn 1 during the start of the race is going to be massive. Take it as wide as you can and hug it in for the exit and entry of the turn 2. Don't go too wide because it will invalidate your lap. Couple of yellow sectors or something, I'm not sure what for. Anton into turn 4 cleanly. Easy on the brakes here, you don't want to lock it up, and then throttle is going to be key as he invalidates this lap, so we're going to have to cut away and see somebody else. Let's jump on board with the man who usually gives us our hot laps. Just started his lap. Harrison here in the Mercedes, currently sitting P2 in the championship. I have to actually do something quick. I have to start my own party in just a minute. I completely forgot. But here we are at Harrison around the tight hand corner. You want to easy on the throttle because you could chuck the rear out of whack down to the backstretch. DRS is open. Does have a car ahead of him. A little too far away to carry a tow into the chicane here. Hard on the brakes, and then easy on the throttle as exit as you go into the second part of the backstretch. No DRS here, but you can get quite a tow if you're using ERS. And then around a flat-out right-hander. Harrison onto the apron there. Coming down. This is kind of a long right-hand sweeping corner. Easy on the brakes. You don't have to climb too hard. You see the Ferrari cut off the way, so Harrison can have a good clean lap in the second 3 now. What time? We have Enzo's 28.6 for his first go in Q3. Skipping Q1 and Q2, as we usually do. Here comes Harrison around the final hairpin, coming down to the DRS zone to finish his line. Holding on is definitely going to be a 28.2, so fastest time so far in this session. Can that time stick? Can he get himself a pole position this evening at the French Grand Prix? Keep an eye on a lot of other drivers who might be his teammate. Aruzia looks like he's going to finish the lap. Looks a little off the pace for a 33. I believe Enzo can, or Aruzia can improve on that, unless that was his out lap. Give you guys an idea of the compounds. I know they're all going to be on the soft compound. Give me 1 second. I have to start my own party, that's for sure. There we go. That way nobody's listening. He's talking to Molly. I'm sure they can. So here comes our championship leader, Anton, on his way out. Did not want to impede on the Alfa Romeo's lap. Hubdy gets himself into Q3. Good to see him out of Q2 as Stig put a lap in at 129.9 on the mediums. It was sitting around 7th until a couple of the guys gave it a go at the last stint for Q2, and Hubdy crossed the line and pipped his teammate out. So Hubdy out-qualifying his teammate for the French Grand Prix. And he get himself a top 5 position for the start of this race. He was P4 in the end of Q2. A couple things to say. I believe it was... who was it? I know we had a guy... Oh, Soap in the Renault crashed out in Q1. So that is a big surprise. Taking a look now. Jono gets himself into Q3 appearance. Aruzia Q3 appearance for himself this evening. He's going to cross the line with a 28.4. Puts himself just behind his teammate for P1 and P2 currently for the Mercedes. If that's not real life, I don't know what we're watching. But we do have Hubdy in P4, Enzo in the Haas P3, Schuff holding on to P5. I believe he can improve on that. He did set the fastest lap in Q2. Invalidated this lap around though. John on an outlap. Anton invalidates this lap as well as Hellboy. Amandale, quickest in Q1, invalidates this time around. The belated man's birthday, Daigera, invalidated this lap, so it looks like he's going to give it a go. He is on an outlap, as well as Amandale and Hellboy. I did miss that, as you guys can see. French is one of those very well-known tracks that a lot of guys will cut the chicanes. As long as it doesn't impede in another driver's lap, it is okay. I mean, it just makes you look goofy a bit. We're going to stick on board with Amandale. Let's see what kind of lap he can get himself into this evening. Quickest in Q1, as I mentioned. Can he follow up with that in Q3? Yellow Sector 2. It looks like we have a racing point that's off. That's Anton, who has crashed. He has crashed. Let's jump on board with Daigero. See if his car remains there as Daigero goes through the chicane. See what might have happened to the racing point. There you have it. He did hit the inside wall. The tire is missing, so Anton crashes out of Q3. Appreciate everybody being here this evening. Hopefully you guys are having a lovely weekend. For the UK guys, hopefully the time change on you guys wasn't too bad. I had to adjust myself because this was now an hour later in my evening because the US is just behind on you guys. We don't switch our time until next weekend. And here comes Daigero. Can he get himself into the 28s? Can he get himself a 27 possibly? Coming down, DRS is open for the Ferrari driver. Crosses line is going to be 28.5, good enough for P3. We just had, I believe it was Amandale sets a 28.5. Puts himself in P3, bumps Daigero. Hellboy has invalidated this lap, and I'm not sure where he's going. I think he's missed the pit entry. Jono is next up to finish a lap. Let's see what kind of time he can get himself into. Can he put himself into the 28s? Everybody so far holding on to the top steps are in the 28s. We have Harrison with a 28.2. We have Ruzia 28.4. Amadale 28.5. Daigero 28.5. We have Enzo 28.6. Hubdy's at 28.9. And Jono decides to pit. So it looks like we're going to have a little bit of a lull before we get these guys really going. Enzo's going to push for another lap. Two Haas teammates running really well this evening. Enzo sets the fastest lap at 28.1. There you have it. He's bested. These two, Enzo and Harrison, know each other best. Those two have had championship battles for the past 2 seasons with each other. So if anybody's going to give a good show, it's going to be Harrison versus Enzo. Everybody into the pits now. Taking a look down. Jono in the pits, should be on his way out. A couple guys coming out for another go. It looks like Harrison's going to leave the pits. His teammate's still sitting in the pits. Enzo's probably going to pull it into the pits this time around. He won't have enough time to go for another one, so kind of made that early run, hoping that maybe a couple of the guys behind them for that late run in Q3 might invalidate their final lap. Amadale still sitting in the pits. Daigero in the pits. Hubdy Schuff is in the pits. Jono is on his way out now, as well as Hellboy. I think Hellboy is following Harrison. Harrison moves out of the way. Harrison wants that late run as late as possible to get the best out of the track. So who is going to be the first one to start a lap? Is that Daigero? is discovering everything that the French Grand Prix can offer as far as corners go. He's rushing to get his lap in. He's the first one though. Hellboy, where's Hellboy? Hellboy is towards the back end of this lap, so we'll stick on board with him as he's going to give it a go. 1 minute and 10 seconds remain in this qualifying session. What kind of time can Hellboy get on the board? Maybe he can get himself top 5. We are yet to see. Here he goes, rounding the last final chicane to start his lap. DRS is going to fly open. Coming down the start-finish line. Can he get himself into a mid-28, or can he get a higher 28? He does have a Haas come out just ahead of him. I believe that Haas is going to start cutting a bit of these corners, so he's going to have to be careful. Hellboy coming up to Sector 2 now. No time on the board, so you can't tell what kind of sector he's run, if he's up or down on his time. Down to the back start, or back straight with the DRS. One of the long straights there. You can see a lot of overtaking happen here this evening. Where's the Haas? The Haas has 7 seconds. He's not going to make it. I believe that is Almondale. He's not going to make it. He left it way too late. Can Hellboy get himself a top 5 this evening in qualifying? Hellboy into the Sector 3 now. Let's jump on board with him as he rounds these final few corners. Here comes Hellboy. DRS is open. There's 27, 28. It's going to be a 29.6. So good enough for P8. Who's going to be next across the line? Ruzio sets the fastest lap. Here comes his teammate, Harrison. Can he cross the line? He goes pole position 28. And it's going to be Shoof. Shoof's now going to be the next guy to cross the line. Can Shoof best the time of 28 flat to get pole position? He doesn't. 28.3. Here comes Daigero, his home Grand Prix. What kind of time is he going to put on the board for this evening? 27. Oh, he just missed it. 28.1. And Jono's going to pull it into the pits. And that's going to be it for Q3 this evening, guys. Harrison picks up pole position at the French Grand Prix, followed by his teammate, Aruzia in P2, Daigero P3, Enzo P4, Shoof P5, Amandale P6, Hubdi P7, Hellboy P8. Jono, unfortunately, couldn't get a time on the board, is P9. And Anton, who's crashed out of Q3, is going to start this race P10. And we're going to have quite a race on our hands. I believe there are 19 drivers here. Phantom, what is going on in the chat? Good luck on your race this evening. Phantom, ladies and gentlemen, reserving for the Ferrari team this evening is going to be his 3rd straight French Grand Prix in a row. So, hats off to him. He's going to really... I'm just sick of the French Grand Prix after that. You guys see the results of Q3 heading into the race. These drivers will have a 5-minute complimentary break. And with that, I'll give you guys a rundown of the championship points. Until then, you guys can take a look at that. Actually, let's look at race director. Where did... Yeah, Anton did crash out of that session. Alright, jump back to drivers. 10 seconds, and once we load in, I will show you guys the championship points, and we'll be waiting for those guys to have their nice 5-minute complimentary break, in which case they will usually get up, stretch, get a drink of water, whatever you need to do, and get yourself set up for the race, pick your strategy, and get your mind set on those laps. And thankfully it's not... Yeah, it's true. I know a couple guys are doing a rain dance, though. So good on you guys not to have rain. It is cloudy, though. That is interesting. We'll see if there's any surprise rain pop up, as I call ghost rain. We'll give you guys a rundown of the combined points so far. GP3, 2, and 1 as a team work as a whole for the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes currently leading the way after the last race weekend, round 9, at 847 points. Alfa Romeo sitting P2 Racing Point holding on to third. Ferrari are in fourth. You have Haas sitting fifth. Williams is sixth. Red Bull is seventh. AlphaTauri is eighth. Renault is holding on to ninth, and McLaren looking to have a good bounce back this week. Jono in the mix. They're currently sitting in P10, and I'll give you guys a look at which everybody really always wants to look at, the Drivers' Championship points. Anton leading the way with 248 points. His championship rival Harrison sitting in P2, Daguerre P3, you have 0, P4, SF1 Stick P5, ERN Schuf is 6th, EF1 Ruzia sitting 7th, Amandale is 8th, TX3 Soap is 9th, TX3 Enzo is 10th, you have Jono 11th, SF1 Tom is in 12th, Hellboy 13th, Hubd 14th, Lord Eros is 15th. We have Uzumaki, who wasn't able to make it this evening. You'll see his GP2 driver, Clutchy, is in the mix to reserve for him. Volcon is here in 17th. Hamp is in 18th. I have yet to see him, though, so we'll have to keep an eye on him. MRC McCall, not here. Phantom filling in this evening. And Ghost, his first race back at SF1. Switching from a wheel to a pad, but I know he's been putting the laps in. So until then, we should be going racing right around, I would say, the 37. Actually, they usually tell me. So let's keep an eye out. 35 mark. We'll be going 35 marks. It's just about a minute. So until then, I'm going to rest my voice because this is going to be an absolute, absolute exciting race to watch. Until then, stick with us, guys. I'm going to rest my voice and sip up on some of my coffee. All right, warming up for the formation lap here at the French Grand Prix. Gonna disable this track map. I don't really care for it. Let's take a look at these guys' tire compounds this evening. I have a couple guys going on the hards at the beginning of the race, so they're gonna be key to get the temperatures into those tires as quickly as possible. A lot of guys going for the mediums. Valcon has gone for the soft compound to start the race, so that will be an interesting. He should come up the field pretty quickly. A couple of the guys on the mediums. We have two guys in the top 10, PUBG and Hellboy, on the soft compound. Let's see if PUBG's gotten himself in. He is currently ghosting, so hopefully he can get himself back into the lobby and jump into his car. Shoof on the soft compound. We have Enzo, Daigero, Erusia, Harrison, all starting on the medium compounds. This is going to be quite a race to watch, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you guys are excited as I am. We have Hellboy ghosting as well. PUBG is ghosting. Hopefully these guys can jump in. But returning to SF1 is this man, Ghost, who's on the pad this evening in the Williams suit. We have Zero starting just behind him, Soap, who crashed out in Q1, starting in P15. Livid, a GP2 reserve, filling in for the Red Bull team this evening. His teammate is going to be Shoof, BRL Phantom,